We live. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it, man. So glad to have you guys. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in tonight. I'm telling you, we got a hot one for you tonight. All right, so come on in, come on in. All right, come on in, come on in, come on in. Yeah. All right. So if you're tuned in from Facebook or YouTube, when you come in, just say, "Hey, how you doing?" I can see you guys. Whatever you text on either one of those platforms. So just come in, man. And again, if you have questions, make sure you make those questions known. Make sure you make those questions known. Okay. Make sure you make those questions known. All right. So let's give you about 30 seconds, man, and we're gonna get started. All right. We're gonna get started. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited because tonight, I'm telling you, we're going to discuss a topic that's going to be um, life changing for some people because a lot of times we find ourselves in these situations, right? We do. So, man, I'm excited. I'm excited tonight. All right. So, you guys know every week we start out by saying healthy relationships don't happen by accident, right? They're built with intention. Okay. And so, welcome to a real life relationship, a blueprint for healthy love, right? I'm your host, Jonathan J.B. Burton, Pastor J. And so I'm excited, man. I'm excited, but tonight. But let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. And again, you guys, when you come in, just say, hey, put those emojis, put those firecracker emojis, put the fire flame emojis. I love those. You guys know I'm born on the 4th of July, so you know how it be. So I need you guys to do that. All right, do that for me. All right. Let me see. Why am I not seeing? There we go. Okay, I wasn't seeing the chat at first. All right, so we good. We good. All right, so let me ask y'all something. Let's start out by let me ask y'all something. Let me ask y'all something real quick, okay? Have you ever been in a relationship, right? Have you ever been in a relationship? Oh, cuz, I see you, cuz. Good to have you on tonight. Good to have you on tonight. Have you ever been in a relationship where everything seemed to look good, right? Everything seemed to look good, right? This the key on the outside, right? Everything seemed to look good on the outside to other people, right? But deep down inside, you guys knew something was not right, right? Something wasn't right. You know, when y'all in public, you're smiling, you're posting pictures on Instagram and TikTok and Threads and X and all these different social media platforms, Facebook and have your reels going on YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff. So you have all that stuff. You're laughing around other people, right? You acting like you're the model couple. Some of you guys, some of you all act like you the couple of the year, right? In public, right? But behind closed doors, it's another story, right? It's quiet, it's tense. Y'all distant from each other, and sometimes y'all don't even act like y'all like each other, right? So tonight we're gonna talk about a hot topic, right? We good, but we really not that good, right? We good, but we really not that good, all right? And so a lot of couples aren't breaking up, right? But they're also not growing. You got people that stay that that they fake it till they make it. They try to stay in there and win it, depending on, the traumas from their past or they, hey, I want to do it differently than my parents or I want to do this a certain way or my last relationship was this. I'm gonna rock this one till the wheels fall off. So you got a lot of couples that's not breaking up, but the problem is they're not growing as well, right? They're stuck in this middle space, right? No real connection, no real communication, just talking at one another, no real intimacy. And so they just existing. You guys hear me talk about this all the time. When couples, they just exist. They just do life together. They go to the formality, they go through the routines or whatever. And so here's the danger when you stay in that we good mode too long, right? We good, you slowly drift into disconnection without even realizing. When you stay in that, well, we good, it's all good, it ain't that big of a deal. You know what? It is what it is. Hey, whatever's clever. When you stay in that nonchalant mode, like you will slowly drift into this disconnection phase without even realizing it, right? All right. So let me give you guys an icebreaker real quick. All right. I'm gonna ask you guys some questions, okay? And so the first question, on a scale of 1 to 10, right? How would you rate your relationship right now? All right. Not last year, but right now. Again, and this is for the couples. Couples, I want you to answer this. You don't have to put it in the chat. If you bold enough to put it in the chat, put it in the chat. But once you answer 1 to 10, how would you rate your relationship right now? And if you're not watching with your significant other, just go back and view this thing later with them, okay? Because remember, all of our podcasts, we want you to engage. Singles, you guys are welcome to come on too, because you'll be able to learn how to do it for the next time, right? You'll be able to learn how to navigate stuff. And then also, man, you can help your people out. Like if you got friends and relatives or something that's around you, and you're learning how to be able to navigate and help people build healthy love. This is the blueprint to healthy love. That's what this podcast is all about, right? So you want to take notes too, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your relationship right now? Okay. Right now, not last year, right now. All right. Right now. And I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat for you guys. All right. Because I keep forgetting to do that other times. All right. How would you rate that right now? How would you rate it right now? All right. All right. And be honest. Y'all be honest. And you guys will talk about it, after this podcast. Okay. After the podcast. So that's why I take, notes so that after the podcast is done, you guys can go back, couples, and be able to re-engage this topic tonight. Okay. Let me give you number 2. What's one thing you miss that your relationship used to have? Okay. Be honest. All right. Every week we talk about this. Like literally, this is a safe place, all right, for your relationship. All right. So both people need to be honest, but both people need to be receptive as well. Listen to understand. Don't listen to respond or to judge. Okay. Let's create a safe spot. You may not ever have had safety. We talked about emotional safety last week. If you missed that podcast, you want to go back and view that, I promise you, because it's going to help you. For some of you all that don't feel safe in your marriages or your relationships, you want to go back and view that podcast, okay? You want to go back and view it. So, but what's one thing you miss that your relationship used to have? What is that one thing? All right. And you guys got to be able to be honest. Be honest with each other, because don't take it personal. That's what happens a lot of times, man. We get defensive, we go offended, and that's why nobody can be honest. That's why we can't get to the bottom of stuff. That's why we can't expose the enemy for who he is in our relationships, because everybody's worrying about who's not going to be honest, or I can't be honest because if I be honest, it's going to cause World War 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? And so you guys got to be able to be honest, and it has to be a safe place to be honest and not taken personal. But it's a way to expose the enemy, because how do you expose the enemy? You got to recognize it. So you got to pinpoint where your issue is, and you cannot pinpoint your issue if you can't be honest with one another. All right. So remind yourself that we are pinpointing our issues, so we got to be honest. All right. So that's number 2. Number 3, do you feel more like teammates or just roommates? I hint toward this a lot of times in the podcast since we started. Do you feel like roommates? And be honest, y'all. Be honest, because these are 3 questions that should like literally have you guys talking about your relationship, okay? And remember, every week I give you guys practical tools that will help enhance whatever the issue we're talking about. So tonight, we're talking about that issue of just, that fake it till you make it, or, trying to act like something in public, but really at home, it's not that. It's not all that. God sees your heart. The enemy sees it too. And so you can't fake it, from a spiritual standpoint, because God sees your heart and the enemy can see too. And so he will set up roadblocks. He will set up all kind of stuff to make your life miserable, because he hates family. He hates unity. He hates you because you're a believer. He hates anything about you because you're made in the image of God, the Imago Dei. And so he can't stand you. All right. So anything attached to God, anything in reference to God, God made the family. He instituted it, all the way back in the garden. It's not good for man to be alone. I'm gonna make him a helpmeet. And he made woman out of man, because come out of man, woman coming out of man. And so Satan been on, he was on Adam and Eve's track from the beginning, right in the garden. right? He launched attacks right in the garden and they fell for it. And so he's been doing this in relationships for years and years and years, because he said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He tried to do with Job and his wife. Job was able to stand, right? But hey, you saw what David did with Bathsheba. You say what Samson did with Delilah. You saw what King Solomon did with all the women he had. So you see this tension between male and female in relationships, even throughout the Word of God, right? And so Satan comes after our relationships, and he can do some damage if we allow him. So that's why we need spaces like this to be able to learn how to fight the right way, to learn how to be teammates, because teamwork makes the dream work. Amen. Don't want you to be roommates, be teammates. All right. All right. Be teammates. All right. So again, does your relationship feel more like teammates or just roommates? And be honest about it, okay? And you guys go back and talk about that together, okay? All right, all right, all right. Let's get into this. Let's get into this teaching, y'all. So some couples think because they don't argue, they good, right? Because that's sometimes the benchmark. Like, long as we can keep the peace, like, we good. Like, long as we don't argue, we good, because that's peace. We got peace when we don't argue. But sometimes, guess what? That's not peace, that's avoidance. And see, that's how the enemy gets us, because we think we keeping the peace, but no, what we're keeping is disconnection. Like, literally, minute by minute, we're getting more disconnected from each other, and we're starting to avoid one another. And that's what happened. Instead of you thinking it's peace, you're really avoiding one another, right? And so, y'all, you're in a situation where you won't talk about the real issues you're facing, right? You're walking on eggshells around each other, right? You're choosing silence over truth, right? You're choosing, well, let me be silent because I don't really want to deal with that, or I don't want to go through that, or whatever the situation is. Like, you are in this avoidant phase, and that avoidance will turn into disconnect, this, like, total disconnection. And that's why you have some people say, well, we fell out of love. That's why you have some people say, well, I'm not in love with you no more. That's why you say, some people say it's run its course. No, because what happened was, over the time, you guys didn't choose each other to stay connected. You allowed the enemy to come in and cause a disconnect through whatever devices or schemes that he used and utilized to tear you guys up. And so you want to think that, man, you know what, maybe I made a mistake, or you want to think that, man, I just don't love you no more. I'm not in love with you no more. Like, it's just, this ain't it no more. Just let's just let this go. Y'all get in the Brian McKnight modes. One last cry before we leave it all behind. I gotta put you out of my mind this time for the very last time. Stop living a lie. I think that's the words. I'm trying to sing it in my head while I'm talking to y'all. But Brian McKnight made a whole song about it. Just, well, hey, one last cry. Let's just make it do what it do. Is let's put you out my mind, put you out my heart for the very last time. So let's do this closure thing and be done with each other. But a lot of times we allow the enemy to come in, create these schemes and this tension between us that cause disconnects over time, and then the next thing you know, we in total disconnect, right? We're in total disconnect. I'm trying to keep up. I'm at work. Chris, I feel you, bro. You can go back. You and Denisha could go back and watch it, man. Appreciate you coming on. Ronald, I see you too, man. God bless y'all, man, for coming on. But that's what happens, y'all. And so we will get disconnected. The enemy would disconnect us with little schemes, little bit by little bit. He don't come in and just, hey, boom, 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 I'm here, I'm the enemy, I'm coming to interrupt your day. No, he's the most devious, the most scheming, cunning thing to walk the face of this earth. And so it's in here in this earthly realm. He's going back and forth, man, who to see who can devour, and mostly definitely relationships that are definitely kingdom minded and believers that are kingdom minded. He's coming after that, right? And so we got to realize this, y'all. We got to realize this. We got to understand we cannot defeat our enemy unless we expose our enemy, okay? And so again, over time, We may feel like it's peace, but we're really in avoidance. And over time, those smaller disconnects, those smaller things of avoidance will sabotage our entire marriage, our relationship till we grow apart because we have not been connected. Right. And that's what happens. Okay. Ephesians 4:15 says, speak truth in love. Speak the truth in love. Real love does not avoid, it addresses. Hear me again. Hear me again. Not again, but hear me again. One more again. One more again. Real love does not avoid, it addresses. All right. It speaks the truth in love because we have to expose the lies of the enemy. That's real love. If you're afraid to be honest with your partner, I would beg to differ if you truly loving them, because love is not a feeling, y'all. It's not an emotion. We attach love to feelings and emotions, and we talked about it in a few episodes before, but I'm not going to get into all that. But love is not a feeling or emotion. It's not about that. If you got into a relationship based upon how you felt about the person and your emotional state about the person, man, you're in trouble. Because what happens when your feelings and emotions are contrary to what you felt when you first met them? What happens when you get into a place where you're not really feeling them or liking them at the time? So you're going to start loving them, right? So we have to speak the truth in love, because real love does not avoid. Real love understands that literally I don't act upon my feelings and my emotions. I act upon my faith. I act upon what I believe in. I act upon the word of God, what the word of God tells me. And what he talks about in First Corinthians 13 chapter, love is something that is continuous. It's continuous no matter what your emotional state, no matter what you're going through. It hopes in all things, it believes in all things, it endures all things. Love never fails, as 1 Corinthians 13. And like that's around verse, what, 5, 6, 7, something like that, right? All things means everything. Okay. All right. So that's what real love does. It doesn't avoid. So if you're avoiding the conversations, you're avoiding being honest with your partner, that's not real love. And we have to get to the bottom of that. You need to get with a counselor. You guys need to get with a coach or a mediator or a spiritual leader that can help you create an environment that will be conducive for you to be open and honest. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you can't be open and honest in your relationship, game over. It's over. You're going to be roommates, and then to the point where you're just going to be like, man, you know what? This ain't even worth it no more. So don't get to the place where you just roommates, or you friends with benefits, because that's what happened. You got married couples that are friends with benefits because they really not connecting. The only time they connect is in the bedroom. So that's what keeps them together. But I'm gonna tell you, sexual intimacy is not going to keep you together. That's the Hollywood stuff. Hollywood is famous for that. That's why you got these people that been in 10 and 11 marriages, because they put sexual intimacy first instead of emotional intimacy and spiritual intimacy, which are the two top that literally creates even more sexual intimacy, and it creates all these other intimacies, because there's like 12 intimacies. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to do a podcast, an episode on just intimacy, and the different types of intimacy that we have that we need to be aware of, right? And so the thing is that Hollywood does that to us. And a lot of times we watch social media, we watch all of this stuff, and we let that literally seep into our way of our culture and how we do stuff. And now we got Hollywood marriages where we like, hey, I don't love you no more. Hey, you know what? I think we need to get a divorce. Oh, you know what? I think we need to separate. Oh, you know what? Yeah, because the real love wasn't there. Now, there's situations that have happened where you have to separate because of the situations that are on the table. But a lot of couples, if they can deal with this stuff before they get into those traumatic situations, you can save any marriage. The problem is that we wait so late to get help, to whereas the divorce papers are almost on the table, or we're literally just roommates and not teammates. Okay. All right. Yeah, Chris, that I'm telling you, that's what it is. Because I remember Dr. Boyd. I told you guys this. Dr. Boyd from Southeastern University tripped me out, man, when I was there. Early class, about 8 o'clock in the morning, psych class. And one day he came into the classroom, and Dr. Boyd probably at that time was probably in his 60s or 70s, maybe. And he said, let me tell you guys something. If God made anything better than sex, he kept it for himself. And we like, what? Where you what why? Why, Dr. Boyd? Why would you say that? And then he comes like, he was like, there may be what he said, there may be snow on the rooftop, but there's fire in the furnace. I said, Dr. Boyd, I say, that's too much. That's too much information, bro. Like, man, we don't need to. It's too early in the morning for all these shenanigans. But he was a cool professor, man. One of my favorite professors at Southeastern University. But he was so cool, man. Very intelligent. He passed a few years ago, man. I hated to hear that. But one of my favorite professors at Southeastern University, Dr. David Boyd. And so, man, he used to say stuff like that. Used to be tripping us out in psych class. It was one of them psych. I don't know what psych class it was. I was a psych major in counseling, and so it was one of my psych classes in my junior year. And so I'll never forget that, because you thought we was asleep coming in there, but we all woke up when he started saying that. Because again, that's a hot topic, and so I think he did that to wake us up, because it was an early class. It was an 8 o'clock class, and I hated 8 o'clock classes, but I did it because of my schedule with practice and stuff. Because of course I played ball and all that, so I had to take the class early. Okay, because when you get in your junior year, you're into your, your career, you're into your the courses that you got to take for your degree. And so that was the only time I could take it, because I couldn't take the later one in the afternoon because I had practice. So I had to take that at 8 o'clock. So that's how it happened. But he was pretty cool, y'all. So, okay, real love doesn't avoid, it addresses. Okay. So remember that if you're in a place where you're avoiding, you got to talk about that. You can DM me online or whatever. Again, I tell you guys this all the time. We can set up counseling sessions. Okay. So you just hit me up and I'll tell you how you can be able to do that. But you can hit me up on whatever platform that you're on right now. If you're on my personal platform, that's even better, because I'm connected to that all the time. But if you're on the churches, excuse me, the platform or whatever, that works too. Okay. All right. So let's keep it going. When communication stops, connection starts dying, because silence creates distance. It's not always the loud arguments that destroy the relationships, because a lot of times, especially in the inner city, we really put a lot of attention on the loud and arguments, the explosive arguments, the anger that comes through explosiveness, and the raising our voices and different things. So we think that a lot of times the loud arguments are the ones that destroy the relationship, right? But no, not just that. It's sometimes the quiet ones that literally does the same thing, because the quiet ones can destroy the connection, right? And so what happened? What do the quiet ones look like? Short conversations. Well, how you doing? Good. How was your day at work? Fine. What happened at work? Not much. See, those short conversations is causing you not to really connect. And fellas, sometimes we do this even when we don't mean to. So I want to encourage every guy out there, man, literally, when your significant other asks you how your day was, act like you going back to English class, and you remember they tell you how to write a sentence. Like, be intentional with like getting the whole full sentence out. How was your day at work? Well, it started off pretty well, but toward the afternoon, it kind of slowed down. And then, I had this happen, and we had to deal with this. And, man, baby, you keep this in prayer. But because, see, you might have some prayer needs that you didn't know. You just said good. But see how you could have had something that you could tell your significant other that they could be praying for you about, but because you just say good, it's all great. Look what happened. The enemy allowed you a opportunity that you had to get your teamwork makes the dream work partner in play, but because you said we good, they never knew you was dealing with that at work. And now what happens is eventually you start bringing work home, and now work is affecting your relationship, right? See, that happens a lot. And so the thing is, that's why we don't need just these short conversations. Like be open, be vulnerable, be transparent, be proactive, be intentional with expressing exactly what happened. So don't do the short conversations. All right. And so those quiet conversations hinder us. Also, no emotional check-ins. When we don't do any emotional check-ins, like, man, how you feeling today? Like, how you doing? Like, how you doing? Just how are you doing? Like, no emotional check-ins. Like, we don't ask each other how we doing. Just not if anything's wrong, or not just like, hey, how you doing? How you doing spiritually? Right? For you guys that are believers, how you doing spiritually? Right? You guys know that as a part of our church, we have accountability things, and we have questions that we ask each other, that we we already have this established even amongst our church with our leadership, you know. And so definitely want to have it established with our couples. And so when you don't have emotional check-ins, that quietness can cause disconnection and disruption, right? And then we have these surface level interactions where there's no deepness to us. It's like we're guarded. It's like we don't have time to talk. It's like, well, hey, I'm busy right now. Hey, I'll talk to you later. It's like, okay, bye. I'll see you later. And it's like these surface level interactions. There's no intimacy. There's no intentionality to really embrace one another, right? You see what I'm saying? Like literally, there's no intention with that at all, And so sometimes you got to be proactive and certain things. I'll give you one thing, and I know my wife won't mind this, or she might mind it. I don't know. Y'all know how to do this, whatever. But like even just last night, this morning, early before we woke up, man, I just gave my wife a massage. Like I just gave her a massage out the blue. She didn't ask for it. She was halfway asleep, but I understood. Like I know how she likes to be connected to. So it's like literally just massage. Just gave a little massage. I was tired. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was tired because I didn't go to bed till late anyway. But I was tired anyway. But the thing is, it's like I did it because not out of duty, I did it out of relationship. This is my wife. Like, love is what it does. It's an action word. It's not a feeling. So even though I was tired, I still, and she was appreciative. She's like, I really appreciate that. She didn't ask for it. But it's like it's just I woke up because her alarm went off because I'm a light sleeper, and I just thought, came just give a massage, and I gave a massage, right? So that was a connection point, right? That was an emotional check in because I know that's one of her love languages. So that meant something for her, right? So that's an emotional check in, right? So that's not a surface level interaction. That's me being intentional, knowing that this is a love language of my wife. Let me be intentional with doing that. Even though I'm tired right now, let me be intentional. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Let me look at these. Okay. I have that guard thing. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I feel you. All right. So let's keep it moving. All right. Distance doesn't happen overnight. It happens daily. All right. And that's how the enemy comes in to kill, steal, and destroy. He's not going to just come in and just disrupt your entire day and say, "Oop, I got you. Surprise." No, he's going to be sneaky. He's going to be little bit by little bit making one inch movement to set things in play so that when he feel like he got you, boom, that's when he'll rise to the occasion and now it's too late. Okay, so that's what happens. Distance doesn't happen overnight. It happens daily. It happens daily. Okay. And so we have to recognize that. We have to recognize the enemy that when it comes in to create this disconnection between us, it happens daily. It just don't happen at one time. It's just not, oh, it's not that big of a deal. No, it is that big of a deal. Everything that causes any conflict or any misunderstanding is a big deal. I don't like I told Lady B. I told him when we was dating our first month of dating. I said, look, if I spit wrong, just let me know. Like if it bothers you, if I spit on the sidewalk, and you'll feel better if I spit on the sidewalk. Just let me know. I mean, spit in the grass. That don't change me. I still can spit. But if it bothers you for me to spit on the pavement, I don't want to leave room for the enemy to make you emotionally upset, because when you get in your emotions, you in your feelings, and when you're in your feelings, you in your flesh. And guess who can jack with you with your flesh? The enemy. So we cannot give him any room to jack with us or to mess with us. We cannot do that, right? We cannot do that. That's a problem. It's not. We don't want to do that. Okay, we cannot do that, guys. Don't give the enemy any room to mess with your feelings. Okay. Don't give him any room to mess with your feelings. All right. Don't give him any room, because if we give him room, you know how he does. He's gonna take him out. He's not gonna take it. He's gonna take him out. So okay. So don't let him mess with your feelings. All right. We have to understand that we gotta literally deal with our feelings. All right. Right. So comfort can kill growth. Okay, when we get comfortable, it can really kill our growth. And sometimes, like I said, we can get to the place where we got this fake peace, or it's like, man, longer. Yeah, I don't. And this, some of y'all personality people that are people pleasers. Y'all the worst at this. Okay. So if you're a people pleaser, you're the ones that don't like to argue or get into conflict. You'll avoid it. But what you're doing is you're dying inside. And that stuff is gonna come out. It's gonna come out. So it's like your comfort, where you choose comfort over dealing with the issue, it's gonna kill your growth in your relationship. Okay. And so we have to understand, just as the topic tonight, we good, but we not that good. Like we're not good. Like a lot of times, the people that are people pleasers, they the ones that deal with this the most, because they're the ones that are afraid to be open and honest. They're the ones that are afraid to navigate and to push into that place where it's like, hey, I need to speak the truth in love, as the Bible says that we need to speak the truth in love, like at all times. Speak it in love. Don't speak it when you're in your emotions. Don't stop talk at that time. Take a time out, come back where you can speak the truth in love. That's the time that you need to be able to connect, when you can speak the truth in love and not in your emotions. Okay. Because if you speak the truth in your emotions, it's gonna be it's not gonna be taken the way you thought it was. So when you can speak it in love, when you calmed yourself down and you're not in your feelings, you're not in your emotions, that's the time you want to speak. But you have to be willing to connect. If you don't talk and be honest, that's a disconnect. You leaving room for the enemy to come in and cause all kind of pain and havoc in your relationship. And the most part, he loves to come in and mess with your mind and your head, to make you feel things and sense things and think something there. And because you're not talking about it, you create these scenarios in your own head, and your significant other don't have any idea that's what's going on with you, because again, you don't like to push into drama, but you got that stuff in your head and you just letting the enemy run with your mind. You around here put stuff together. Now you checking phones and you checking Facebook, you checking all these things because you don't allow the enemy to play with your head, when all you had to do is speak the truth in love. Hey, I just got to tell you, I've been feeling out of balance a little bit lately. I could be tripping right now, but it just seems like, are we okay? Are we good? Are you, are you getting any kind of, feelings or emotions to look at somebody else, this and that? Like, be honest. Like, that's the thing. And a person, now again, when y'all had this conversation and the person tells you, like, look, that's, it's me and you, like, now you have to believe that. All right, you can't keep just going and rehatching it because you're not feeling it, because now it's gonna make the person feel like, what, you don't trust me. And so that now is gonna eat them up. Now, like, you don't trust me. So it's like, so you have to be careful. Get it out there on the table, but deal with it so it can forever be dealt with. And it don't need to come back up unless you literally see something that literally happens in real time that actually is something real. All right. But if you keep regurgitating that stuff, that's not healthy, and it will cause this whole insecurity, a doubt, or of distrust, or the other person feeling like, hey man, like, why you not trusting me? Like, what's going on? And now they got stuff in their mind. Why they acting like that? All right. So we have to be careful of that. So speak the truth in love. Don't do it through your emotions. And when the person tells you what it is, believe them until you see something physically or being revealed to you, not something you sense, but something you actually see. Okay. So that wasn't even in my notes, but I'm giving y'all that because some of y'all, like, literally drive y'all spouses crazy, y'all significant others crazy, because you guys got distrust on the inside of you. Ain't got nothing to do with the spouse or the significant other. It's your trauma, it's your past, it's what you've dealt with. And so you're going to try to bring your baggage and make it theirs. That kind of weight putting in your relationship always is going to make that person literally disconnect. Okay. So we have to be careful when we do that. All right. We have to be careful when we do that. Yes, we should be using words that build on one another. Yep, yes, and speaking in love, because there's times that you may have to say some hard things. And again, remember, you guys can talk to me. You may have to say some hard things, but speak it in love. And the person that has to receive it, receive in love. Remember James 1:19, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry, right? And so we have to receive in love. So we got to be quick to listen. And if you can't be quick to listen, call a timeout and say, hey, give me 5 minutes, give me 10 minutes. Let me go pray, because I can't receive this right now. Let me go pray. All right. So that's what we have to do. All right. All right. So we have to make sure you guys that are people pleasers, getting back to this comfort thing, it can kill your growth. Okay. So don't just, settle for the being comfortable and, like literally it's like, man, we got peace. I don't want to rock the boat because I get afraid and I get, no, 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 don't do that, because now the disconnect is happening. And what you thought was setting you guys up to create and establish peace is actually established chaos through you guys literally growing apart and being disconnected. And now you're at the place where, you know what, I don't think this is going to work because I don't love you like that no more. That's what happens when you disconnect. All right. So someone, when it comes down to getting in this comfort zone, somebody in the relationship gets comfortable. So what happens is you all stop being intentional, right? You stop being intentional with certain things. So what happens is, okay, no more, we don't date anymore, right? Because we too busy. We got kids and we got this and all of that. See, that comfort will kill your growth. See, this is the thing. It ain't just about you sitting here and you constantly communicating. No, this just even in your actions. You heard the old saying, what it took to get that person, it takes to keep them. And what happens, we forget that. We forget, we wine and dine, so to speak, and then when we get married and have kids and all that, it's like we don't do any of that no more. No, that's not fair, because you set the bar here. Don't bring the bar down here, because comfort can kill your growth. It can kill your relationship. It can kill the intimacy that you once had. Not if you don't keep doing those things to have the emotional intimacy, to have the spiritual intimacy, to have the recreational intimacy, to have like the sexual intimacy, to have like all of these different intimacies that we'll talk about later. It will stunt your growth. It will stunt your connection and literally kill your relationship, right? And so again, some of these conflict areas again is we don't date anymore, right? Or we don't put the effort toward like really push it in those areas to connect like we used to do. We don't pursue each other anymore, and this is a big one, because you still need to pursue your wife. You still need to pursue your husband, just like you pursued them when you saw them. Be like, oh man, oh man, she fine. Oh, I gotta have her. And how you pursued her, fellas, how you pursued her, you still need to pursue your wife, because you made her feel like she was the king, the queen. No, not king. I'm sorry, y'all. Forgive me on that one. You made her feel like she was the queen on 1,000 hills, right? Fellas, you made her feel like she was the most special woman in all the earth. So you have to still make her feel that way, because that's not fair if that's the way you got her and now you don't do that anymore. All right. So you gotta pursue her. Ladies, you gotta pursue that man. If you made him feel like the king, the king of 1,000 hills, you made him feel like the king of the castle, like you still gotta make him feel that way. Don't, well, I'm tired. Oh man, these kids, I'm just tired. I don't feel like doing that. I'm just tired because I got kids, and you know what? Because I got kids, and you know what? Because I got kids. Ladies. Y'all better stop using the fact that y'all got kids. Because newsflash, you ain't have to have kids, right? So don't put it on the kids, which is the reason why you can't do certain things. No, we know you're busy. We know you're busy. That's not the problem. The problem is where we're not intentional of doing things that got us in the position in the first place, right? So again, we got to be intentional of doing things, coming out of our comfort zones where it's like, I'm tired. I'm busy. Yeah, you might be tired, but you can't keep saying I'm tired for the next year and 2 years. No, you got to be intentional with being intentional with connecting. Like literally with my wife, like literally when we went places where we had no babysitters and all that, we still did date night. That's why I tell a lot of couples now, because like we don't have time to date, like we don't have a babysitter, this and that. You don't have to have a babysitter to date. You can still date every week without a babysitter. It's easy. All you got to do Friday night, stay up until after the kids, and be intentional with having a date night. You can, like, one of the things me and Lady B do, like I'll make some popcorn on the stove, because that's what I do, y'all. I hooks it up. Y'all think y'all got a movie theater. I got the butter, I got the seasons, I got about 8, 9 different seasons, whatever. We in the real movie, we like in the movie theater. Like for real, for real. The popcorn tastes like the movie theater because of the popcorn and the stuff I use. Then we watch a movie. Sometimes we watching sitcoms or series, and we watch them together. But we'll use that time for me and her just to come together, and we might talk a little bit or whatever. We just might watch the movie. And then we have to pay no money. We have to get no babysitter because the kids are asleep. So you be intentional. We did that all the time, man. We did that even when we were single, when we was trying to make it work and finance was tight and all that. Man, we would just stay in and just watch a movie. We ain't have to go out to eat and all that. We both can cook. So I'm telling you, I remember, what was that, for her birthday? Was it her birthday? Her first birthday when we got married. We was up in Michigan. And up in Michigan, I'm sorry, y'all. Michigan, when you from the South, man, it's like Michigan ain't got no good food up there, bro. I'm sorry for all my Michigan people. I love y'all. But man, there wasn't no good food up there. So it wasn't about going to the restaurant. And so y'all know what I did? Man, I hooked it up. Man, I had scallops, I had lobster tails, I had shrimp. What else I had? Didn't have no crawfish. Couldn't have no crawfish up there. But I had shrimp, lobster tail, scallops, crab legs, oysters, corn, potatoes, sausage. Man, I just hooked it up. Because y'all know my wife here from New Orleans. I hooked it up, man. I'm telling you. I hooked it up. I mean, I made so much food. I forgot it was just me and her. I don't know what I was thinking, but we had so much seafood, man, and it was good, and we tore it up for real. And I was like, this was better because I can cook, y'all. So it's like, this was gonna be better than going to the restaurant anyway because I did it myself. But it's like, and it was cheaper because I bought all the stuff myself. So we did that. So and that, guess what? You when you're in the movie theater, you can't talk to each other. In the movie, they're gonna tell you to be quiet. So at home, you can talk to one another, and that's a time for intimacy, emotional intimacy, like literally recreational intimacy. These things are important, all right? So you don't have to get comfortable, like, well, like we can't do this because we can't date. No, you can date. Like you can date even at home. You just have to be intentional because it's not about the location. Intimacy ain't about your physical location. Intimacy is about your mental and emotional location. Somebody get that and write that down. All right. That's not what intimacy is not about your physical location. Intimacy is not about your physical location. Intimacy is about your emotional location, your spiritual location. So focus on your emotional and spiritual location. Don't focus on your physical location when it comes down to your emotional intimacy. All right. So comfort can kill growth. We have to be careful. Revelation 2:4 says, you abandoned the love you had at first. And of course, some other translations said, you abandoned your first love. And so love doesn't die, it's neglected, right? Love does not die, it's neglected. All right. So y'all that say y'all fell out of love, ain't no such thing in the world. Y'all say, I just don't love you no more. Ain't no such thing. It's like, it does not die, it's neglected. So what happened is that you exhausted the possibilities of connecting to keep your love flowing, right? Keeping your love flowing. That's the thing. If you keep a battery, like right now I'm on my computer, if I don't put this thing back on the charger, it's going to die. So no matter this MacBook Pro, it got a lot of bells and whistles. It's great. When I get computers, I have them for 12, 13 years. So I spend money. I invested in this in 2022 or 2023. I'm gonna have this for about 10 years because my last one that I just got in it was 2023. I had that computer since 2015, but it was a 2011. So that computer was over 10 years old, right? And so the thing is, I keep my computers a long time. So this computer right here, I'm gonna have this thing for years to come. So I got some great bells and whistles on this thing, right? So, but even though I have all of that, guess what? If I don't charge the battery, I can't use none of it. So it's a thing. You have all of that power. You have all of that ability inside of you. You both do. But if you guys don't connect and recharge one another, you don't recharge your relationship, it dies, right? So if you just literally don't stay connected, your relationship is going to die because guess what? You all make up your relationship. It's not like your relationship is something that's standalone. No, you all make up your relationship. So if you don't feed your relationship, it's going to die. And the way we feed our relationship is by connecting to one another. All right. Let me look at I think y'all are putting some stuff in the chat. So let me see what y'all got over here. Okay, all right, gotta relearn. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, those are the grooves on there. Good to see y'all, Ivan and Joy. All right. Cool, cool, cool beans. Cool beans. All right. Glad to have y'all on. All right. So that's the thing. We have to be careful with that. All right. Because love doesn't die. It's neglected. And we don't want to neglect it. We want to continue to connect. We have to be intentional with our connection. Don't get comfortable because of your situation, your the time, like whatever your relationship is. Like, hey, you got this routine. So we get comfortable in our routines. We get up, we go to work, we come home, we cook, we clean or whatever, we take care of the kids, we go to sleep, and nowhere in that time of the day did you connect with your husband or connect with your wife. That is not good, because every misconnection is a disconnection, and those disconnections will add up to literally destroy your relationship. To one of you guys is saying, hey, I don't love you anymore. It's not that you exhausted the possibilities of staying connected, being intentional and proactive, because if we be proactive, we won't be reactive. So we have to be proactive in our connections, right? Especially when it comes to our emotional, intimate connection, because that sets the tone for all of our other connections, all right? Our other intimacies. Amen, somebody. All right, let's keep it moving. Unspoken issues become silent barriers. Okay. So the real problem isn't that you're arguing about something. That's not the real problem. What, like, that you're not arguing about something. The real problem is that um it's literally the hurt that hasn't been addressed, because you're not talking about it. You're not disclosing it. You're not being honest. See the needs that haven't been expressed. You got some needs, but because you're a people pleaser, you don't want to talk about it, or because you're afraid that it's going to turn into an argument, you don't want to talk about it. So that stuff builds up. The frustration gonna build up, or you got some expectations that you haven't clarified yet. And I tell my couples that I literally do counseling with, you got these unrealistic expectations because you never discussed them, so that your relationship can see if they're realistic, something that we can get to, or if that's something that we need to finagle and like adjust a little bit. We need to pivot on it to actually make it a realistic thing that we can do. But if you don't actually state it, and this is the thing, y'all, we're the worst at this, that we have the litigated gall to literally not talk about our needs, not talk about our hurts, not talk about our pains, not talk about our expectations, but then it's still expected. Come on, y'all. Y'all don't know how many couples I've counseled where you got people that just expect people to just know what they're thinking, to just know how to respond to something they ain't even talked about. Y'all really expecting people to be God in the flesh in y'all relationships. And I'm gonna tell you right now, newsflash, that ain't gonna never happen, because nobody can be God but God. All right, God is the only one can be God. That's it. There's nobody else can. So newsflash for y'all, want y'all spouses to be God. Y'all gotta get over that foolishness, because your spouse cannot be God. They're not going to know anything unless you be open and honest. All right. And this is the thing. It's not fair if you got a spouse that has a prophetic anointing or something, and God gives them things and stuff like that. You cannot just depend on that, because that's not a guarantee. That's not a guarantee. So you can't just sit by, well, Lord, you'll give it to him, or Lord, you'll give it to her. No, that's not fair, because guess what? You didn't do that when you got married. You stood in the fact to get married. You did all the physical stuff. You ain't say, well, Lord, stand in the gap for me. No, you stood in your own gap, especially when it came to that night. Ain't none of y'all said, okay, like, God, just, I don't want to do this. Let somebody pinch hit for me. No, you pinch hit it for yourself. So it's like you can't pick and choose when you want to connect. Well, I stand in now for this because I like this. No, we gotta stand in there in the relationship in all facets, not just in the facets that we like. When it comes down to, some of y'all love the sexual intimacy, some of y'all love the recreational intimacy, some of y'all love the spiritual intimacy. Those are all great in this place, but you can't pick and choose which ones you want to stand in it and really believe for your relationship, which ones you want to pick and choose. This is not a spiritual buffet. We got to eat everything at the buffet. You can't sit there and just pick and choose. Well, I just want the fried chicken, but I don't want the green beans. Well, you're gonna have an unhealthy diet, and your everything will be off. If you just eat fried chicken every day, all day, your health is not going to be great because you got to have a balanced diet. It's the same thing spiritually and emotionally. We have to have a balanced diet. So you can't just pick and choose what intimate things that you want to get into or what things you want to talk about and other things. Well, I don't want to talk about that. No, we have to talk about it because we have to have a balanced diet when it comes down to our connectiveness. All right. Because anywhere that we let the breach happen where we're not connecting, we leave the door open for the enemy to come in to sabotage. And I need y'all to understand that. All right. All right. So, hurt that hasn't been addressed. This is something that unspoken issues that become silent barriers, uh, needs that haven't been expressed, expectations that haven't been clarified. So, what goes unspoken doesn't just go away, right? It festers, it builds up, it damages, it destroys, it annihilates. It does. So you got to speak the truth in love. You got to be honest, even to a thought, because if you don't, you allow the enemy access to your relationship because you are literally not being honest. That allows your spouse to pivot or allow your relationship to pivot or put some stuff in place that can literally repair the breach or stop a breach from happening in the first place. All right. Amen, somebody. All right. Let's get our couples check in. All right. We winding this down. Let's get our couples check in. Let's get our couple check in. All right. And again, if you're not with your significant other right now, go back and view this thing on this podcast. But you guys know that we're intentional with checking in. We're intentional with checking in, and where couples are talking to each other. Because again, so God gave it to me like this to be interactive with this podcast where you guys check in with one another. And we might bring a couple once we get situated and I get like I'm gonna try to get a little studio set up in my office or whatever. I may have a couple live that'll join me, or I might bring them in on Zoom or something like that. I mean, on this platform where we'll have a couple actually connect with us and be live with me on this, and they'll be answering some of these questions that I'm asking you guys, so you guys will be able to see it in real time. A couple interacting with me and how I would love for you guys to navigate this conversation with one another. Okay, so again, all right, so let's check in. Let's check in. All right, we got 3 check-in questions for you guys. All right, is there anything you've been holding in that you haven't said just in this last week, last 2 weeks? Some of you all, might this might be your first time on the podcast. And I said this about 3 weeks ago. Is there anything that you've been, keeping it from your spouse, keeping from your significant other? All right. S- Every week something can happen. So I'm coming back with that question. Is there anything you've been holding in that you haven't said? Okay. Is there anything you've been holding in that you haven't said? All right. Is there anything you holding in that you haven't said? All right. And be honest. Be honest, y'all. Be honest. You got to be honest. All right. You got to be honest. And I'm gonna post all 3 of the questions at the same time. Okay. When I get done. Is there anything you've been holding in that you haven't said? Again, create that safe space. Create that safe space. Create that safe space for one another to be able to be honest. Okay. All right. And again, y'all gonna go back and talk about this. You got a bunch of questions to ask each other, and you guys should do this before the week is ended. So next week, you guys can get on and like literally take this, because again, y'all, this you guys are getting counseling, you're getting coaching live, like literally, like who y'all know doing this, like, and then doing it for free. So again, like you guys got to take advantage of this. Okay, like so, do the homework every week. Like do the homework, talk to each other, create that bond, that intimacy through communication and connecting with each other. I'm telling you, it's going to change your relationship. You're going to learn how to be teammates and not just roommates. You're going to learn how to be more than just married on paper. You're going to actually know how to win and literally build healthy love. This is the blueprint to healthy love. So every week we're going to give you another piece that's going to be a part of the blueprint to healthy love. All right. Amen, somebody. All right. So is there anything you've been holding in that you haven't said? All right. Be honest with each other. And then the person, when you guys give that answer to each other, don't get offended about it. Let's talk about it. If you need a coach to get in there, you need me to come in there, you need me as a counselor, whatever, hit me up. Like hit me up. Let's set up some stuff, and or get a spiritual leader if you're not a part of our ministry, this and that, or get somebody in your context that you guys can talk about it. But at least now you can see it and recognize it. Now you can get help with it. Okay. So is there anything you've been holding in that you haven't said? And get to the reason why. Why have you not said it? Because that's just important of whatever you've been holding in. What have you been holding in? And why haven't you said it? Both of those are important, okay? This is number 2. When was the last time you felt truly connected to me? Again, y'all got to be honest with this. When was the last time you truly felt connected to me? Right? When was the last time you truly felt connected to me? Be honest. When was the last time you truly felt connected to me? And you guys be honest with each other and literally, um, you know, um, you know, take it in stride. Don't take it personal. Take it in stride. All right. Take it in stride. Take it in stride. All right. Then number 3, what's one thing I could do better to help us grow? This is important. What's one thing I could do better to help us grow? This is important, okay? This is important. All right. So there it is. I just put all 3 of them over there. All right. All 3 of them in there. What's one thing I could do better to help us grow? Because it's important. Those last 2 questions are definitely important. All 3 of them important. But again, you guys can see how we're being intentional. We're coming out our comfort zone. We're being intentional to connecting and exposing whatever has been hindering us, right? Now we can deal with it. Now we can get some help with it because now you guys are being honest with each other. And then that third one, be honest. What can you do to help us grow? What can I do to help us grow? Couples, that's what you ask yourself. Again, if you're not with your significant other, your partner, your spouse, whoever you're engaged to, you guys go back again and watch this. You got 7 days because we'll be live again on next Thursday. All right. So you got a whole 7 days to do this work. All right. So don't just come on here and it's good and it's like, okay, and you don't even revisit it. The work happens off this podcast. There's only so much I could do in an hour and a half. Okay, for the podcast. We do it quite a bit, but the work happens when you put the work and go back over the podcast and y'all sit down and talk about it and go back through what is being discussed in the podcast. The issue, because every week we're gonna have an issue that couples are facing. All right. All right. So these questions that I just gave you guys is encouraging honesty, but also is implementing grace, right? And that's what creates a safe environment when grace shows up. Grace creates that safe environment, okay? All right. All right. So we're at that part. This is one of my favorite parts of the podcast. I give you guys a practical tool that you could do um, that will help with this. Because again, we can't just act like we good. We got to actually be good. We can't just go out in public and look like we all good and everybody think all good. And when we get home, it's a whole nother level. It's like y'all Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You in one way you look like the perfect couple at home. You're distraught. It's crazy. People wouldn't even know. They were like, man, if people could see what we see at home, but people will be shocked, right? You got a lot of couples that are in that place, right? And so we got to expose the lies of the enemy because you can't keep that up for long. I've counseled couples that did that, and a lot of them are divorced today, right? Because they never dealt with that stuff in public. They made it, and you see this in ministry, man. And it's sad to say because I've counseled a lot of pastors and ministers and stuff, and they go to church and they had like everything all good, but they go home and it's like HELL that break loose, like literally. I've even had some pastors that were referred to me right in our city of New Orleans. That of course everything is confidential, so I don't talk to anybody about that kind of stuff. But I've had some pastors that are prominent pastors in New Orleans that have come to my counseling sessions confidentially. And I would have never known they had that going on in their life. I'm like, oh my God. Like on Sundays, it looked like y'all the model couple. On Sunday, it looked like y'all got it all together. On Sunday, it looked like, man, y'all just the tag team back again. Like, 95 South, any of y'all that know that group. I took y'all way back into time. But if you wouldn't know it, like you think they doing great. But then when they come see me, I'm sitting there like, wow, I would have never guessed, because there's a lot of pressure on couples that are in ministry to perform well, to lead their flock. And so that's why you have to have a trusted advisor, somebody that is close to you that can help you, where you could be vulnerable. Because see, that's the thing. Like, and pastors, if you guys are on this feed right here, you guys got to do this. You have to set a tone in your congregation where your people feel like they can come and be open and honest with you. Because if you're going to just be religious, then it's game over, because they ain't gonna come to you. If it's just like, well, you're wrong, this and that, and you're going to HEWL, you got to do this, or you got to leave the team, you got to sit down and all, man. It's like, if it come more about the punishment than the actual them opening up and being honest and you actually helping them, that's a problem. All right. And I know back in the old days, man, you had people that, like hurt people, that literally left the church because they were hurt, because they were open and honest about what they were dealing with. And the pastor or the leader like literally shunned them, or make them feel like worse than dirt. So they turned their back on the church. Anybody that know that's connected to me at Regeneration Church, we don't, y'all know I act like that. I'm probably one of the people that will be one of the most gracious people to people, that I do marriage counseling and coaching with. Some of you all that's on our Regeneration Church team that have had to go through restoration and healing and all that, y'all know how we did it. Y'all know what we did. I didn't expose you. Like literally, we dealt with it. We got rid of it. We did what we had to do. We put the right things in place or whatever for you guys that were willing to do it, and we got through it, like literally. But never did I condemn you. Never did I come off to you to whereas like I made you feel like you was less than what God calls you to be, because I was intentional. Because if God has graced me, because again, I ain't perfect. Like there's only one perfect. Even Jesus said, "Why call me good? There's no one good but the Father." And that's Jesus himself. So it's like, how am I going to sit here and act like I'm perfect and I'm good? No, I've made mistakes in my past. I make mistakes every day, literally. Like, I'm not perfect. So how I'm going to sit here, and we just was talking about this on Sunday, in the message when we talked about unforgiveness, and how the kingdom of heaven is like this, and about the king and the servant that owed all that money, and the king forgave him, and then that servant went out and got one of the people that owed him, and he had him put in prison and tortured and all that to pay him his money because he didn't have his money. And the king found out about it. He's like, bro, how you gonna do that? I forgave you all these millions of dollars, and here this dude owed you just a couple of $1,000, and you didn't forgive him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so that's the thing, is like we can't be like that. So it's like literally, like the grace that has been extended to me, it's my job to extend it too. If I'm gonna be the hands and feet of Jesus, what did he do with Mary Magdalene? She's like, hey, he said, where are your accusers? I don't see none. He said, well, I don't accuse you either. Go and sin no more. Not finna sit here and like be all religious with you and make you feel worse than what you are. You already feel bad. So now let's deal with it. All right. Now I'm not gonna be a pity patty either. I'm not gonna sit there and like, beat a Mr. Rogers up. No, we gonna do the work. I'm gonna be in your grill. I done had people, I done had pastors tell me to my face, I don't like you, Pastor. And I said, look, Reverend, I ain't here for you to like me. I'm here to help you. So I know you don't have to like me, but I'm going to do what I know I'm called to do. And I'm gonna be all up in your Kool-Aid. I'm gonna know the flavor every single day, because I ain't gonna let you breathe. Because at the end of the day, you have a responsibility to your congregation. You have a responsibility to your wife. And if you are willing to be all in and be vulnerable, God will do it. And I am going to challenge you every single day to be all that you say that you are in God. That's how I work now, but I'm gonna grace you. I'm gonna grace you, but you're gonna have to work. And that's for pastors, that's for lay members, that's for whoever. You're gonna work. So I'm not gonna sit there and just, condemn you by my religious, tone or my religious communication. No, I'm gonna extend grace just like Jesus did it for me, right? And it works, because when people feel like they can be open and honest, man, I have dudes coming up to me all the time at our church about stuff they struggling with. Like literally, that's the thing. I wish I could do that with the ladies, but that's a little, that I just, I let, I let the ladies handle that, but it's just like certain things do come to my attention that I can help the ladies with, but we created a ministry where we're open and honest. Like, well, there is no judgment. It's like there ain't no perfect people here. So it's like they can be open. Our men definitely be open. Like sometimes I have some of our men, like Chris and Ronald, they're here right now. They'll be on Sunday morning doing a real life lesson, and they sometimes forget that they live on Sunday morning because we built such a culture to be open and honest that they'll be saying personal stuff over the live and not even conscious of it because we've created that in our ministry to be open and honest, and they will be open and honest. It's pretty cool, y'all. It's pretty cool. And so we want to make sure we do that. All right. All right. So let me give you guys this practical tool, and we're gonna be done in a second. Let me give you this practical tool, okay? That's gonna help you connect. That's gonna help you literally stay proactive in being connected in your relationship. Not avoid it, not sitting to avoid it, having avoidant behavior, but where you intentional with connecting, especially for you guys that feel it hard to connect, or you're in this place where you're trying to avoid it because of A, B, C, D, whatever your reasons are for avoid it. We're gonna this tool is gonna help you. Okay, so this is what I want you to do, and I want you to repeat this once a week. Do this once a week, and some of you all, if you want to do it more than once a week, you can do it. But let's just start out once a week. All right. And some of you guys know that have gone through my counseling that this is something we do, right? And we call it daily dialogue. But I'm telling y'all, just do it once a day. I mean, once a week. All right. So once a week. All right. And these are questions I want you guys to ask each other. What did you feel this week in our relationship? All right, we're gonna start our basic. What did you feel this week in our relationship? What did you feel? And again, I'm leaving that open-ended. All right. I'm leaving that open ended because I want to be general because you take that how you want to take it. So, what did you feel this week in our relationship? What did you feel? All right. Because we have to deal with that because a lot of times we react based upon our feelings. So we have to be able to deal with what did you feel this week in our relationship? It could be good, it could be bad, it could be neutral, it could be whatever. But that's why it's in general because I want you to be honest. What comes to your mind, that's what's important. All right. So I didn't want to say, okay, what did you feel that was negative this week? No, because that might have been something positive that actually encourages you, or it might not have been something that you really look at negative, but it's like, it's not negative, but it's like it's not good either. Because some of y'all got different levels of toxicity, like toxic, negative, not good. So that's why I left that off the table. So it's like, what did you feel this week? And whatever come to your mind, that's what you talk about. That's question number one. Okay. I'm gonna put all three of these questions in the chat. All right. Here's number two. What did you need this week that you didn't get? What did you need this week that you didn't get? What did you need this week that you did not get? Okay. Ask each other that question. This is for both of you guys to actually ask each other. Again, do this weekly. And some of you guys, if you want to do it more, like 3 times a week or bi-weekly, however, at least once a week is what I want you guys to start out doing this. What did you need this week that you didn't get? All right. And this is from the relationship. We ain't talking about from the store and all that. Well, I needed some deodorant. No, we ain't talking about that. We talking about from your relationship. All right. Because some of y'all try to be funny. Well, I needed some deodorant from the store this week. I ain't get it. We ain't talking about that. We talking about in your relationship. What did you need this week that you didn't get? All right. And number three, how can we be better next week? How can we be better next week? Okay. Those 3 questions. Again, if you want to add questions to that, you can. I don't want you to get over like too like deep with it. But these are just some questions to get you to like really think about some things. All right. I'm gonna put it in the chat. These are questions to get you to really think about some things. Okay. So what did you feel this week in your relationship? Well, in our relationship, what did you need this week that you didn't get? And how can we be better next week? Okay. And I'm gonna give you some rules. All right. Some rules, some guidelines. Okay. For this, because some of y'all might put some extra stuff. Some of y'all literally um, this could start World War III. I don't want to start World War III. These are your rules. All right. Don't interrupt each other. Okay. Don't interrupt each other. No defensiveness. just listening and understanding. All right. No interrupting, no defensiveness, just listening and understanding. That's it. Just listen and understand. I don't need you to respond. You don't need to respond to it. Just write down, what do you feel this week? What did you feel this week in this relationship? Boom. You ain't got to go into explanation. Just say, this is what I felt. I felt really distant from you this week. Okay. Wow. All right. Go to the next question. Because now, once you get the questions down, like literally, then you come back around and talk about it. I would take a time out and I would go pray once you get these deals. What did you need this week that you didn't get? Well, I needed you to really be there for me when this situation was happening, because I told you I needed you, but you weren't there. You was too busy for me. Write it down. Just don't interrupt. Don't get defensive. Just listen to understand. All right. How can we be better next week? Write it down. Go pray, and then y'all come back and discuss it. All right. Then you come back and discuss it. Then you come back and discuss it. All right. That's how you guys need to do it. Then come back and discuss it. Okay. All right. Everybody got it? If you got it, say yeah, yeah. I got it. I got it. I got it. All right. All right. So this is something new I'm gonna start doing. This is something new I'm gonna start doing. Uh, I'm gonna ask a question and I'm gonna answer it. And what I do, I may even bring, one of you guys on or whatever to answer this question, as well live. So I want to start doing that, like implementing this, and so I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna just start out by answering it myself, but then I want to bring somebody on that can tag team and that can answer this based upon their expertise or whatever their situation is. Okay. And so, okay. So why does it feel harder to talk the longer we've been together? Right? Why does it feel harder to talk the longer we've been together? Why does it feel harder to talk the longer we be together? Right? Why does that feel harder to talk the longer you're together? Well, one of the reasons is because guess what? Patterns like get built. Like they when you have this habitual thing that continues to happen where you disconnect, it's going to get harder if you're avoiding, or if you're keeping the peace, keeping the peace. So I'm not going to say what I'm actually feeling. I'm not going to say what I want to expect. I'm not going to say I'm just going to just hope that he just get it one day because I don't want to argue with her, or I just hope she get it one day. I just don't want to argue with her. And all the time you're dying inside because your needs are not getting met because you're afraid to communicate your needs. So that's one of the reasons why it gets harder to talk the longer we've been together, because we have not used the opportunity to actually build a pattern of connectedness. We've used the pattern of disconnect through avoidance or through the situation of afraid to get offended or afraid of dealing with conflict. So we literally avoid, which means we disconnect, right? And when avoidance becomes normal, honesty feels uncomfortable. I want y'all to write that down. When avoidance becomes normal, honesty becomes uncomfortable, right? Anything that you avoid, it comes uncomfortable. Even if you guys started avoiding sexual intimacy, eventually it's going to be awkward when you come back together. Anything that you avoid, anything of any type of connectedness, is going to be awkward when you come back together. So when avoidance becomes normal, it don't matter which area of avoidance you're having, it is going to feel uncomfortable. Honesty is going to feel uncomfortable. And honesty don't have to be your words. It could be your body language. It could be your intimacy, whether it's physical, whether it's recreational, whether it's spiritual. It's going to become uncomfortable, right? Because if you're avoiding, you're building these unhealthy patterns. But growth always requires discomfort. And we have to understand that when you're starting something new or you're putting something in place, like it's going to be this we're trying to figure this out. So there might be a little friction here, but it's well worth it, because at least you're trying to connect. At least you're trying to get it right. At least you're not leaving room for the enemy to come in and sabotage you, giving him ammunition where he already want to take your relationship out. Don't give him ammo because you're avoiding one another. Don't be out. Well, we good, and you know full well y'all not good. Yeah, Pastor, we good, but you not good. You know you're not good. So don't tell the pastor that you're good if you know you're not good. All right. Amen, somebody. Be honest with the pastor. All right. All right. Amen, somebody. Any questions to that? Any questions to that? All right. All right. So let me give you a tip. If you feel distant in your relationship, don't wait for a big moment to fix it. Okay. I'm gonna give you this tip because again, I told you I'm gonna do some things a little bit different. So we're gonna have that question, that either one of you couples or somebody answer, and then I'm gonna give you a tip pretty much every week when there needs to be a tip. But it's like literally, don't wait, y'all, to the big moment to fix it. Don't wait till a big moment or something happens like this. People do this all the time. They wait till something catastrophic happen and now they want me to try to fix their marriage. And it's like, no, don't wait for those big moments. When you start noticing there's some distance or something ain't right in your relationship, right? Like fix it right then. Start working on it. Fix it when it's small. Like be consistent with conversations so that you can know when something is wrong and you guys can fix it when it's small. When anything, any type of repair person gonna tell you, call when it first start happening, because the longer you wait, the more extensive it is, the more pain it's gonna cause you, the more money it's gonna call you, the more time it's gonna cause you. So let us know as soon as you recognize something. Don't wait until something breaks. If you start hearing something crazy, call us. We'll come out and we'll check it. Especially if you got insurance on your appliances or whatever. Like literally, like you start at that particular time and point right then and there. Like try to get it fixed, because the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be. The harder it's going to be to fix it. Okay, all right. So don't wait. If you feel something, like don't wait for that big moment to fix it, because we love to do that in our culture. Like we'll just go with it. We'll go with it. We'll go with it until something catastrophic happen. Now we want to go get help. It be too late almost then. Like it's too much damage that be done. Y'all gotta really like strap up the boots and like really get in it. But it's like if you do it from the beginning, as soon as you notice something, man, hey, let's look into this. Let's talk about this. Okay. This seems like this could actually be a problem for us. Let's get some help on this. But if you're afraid to talk through stuff, or if you're afraid to navigate this or even have the conversation, it's gonna be hard, man, because you'll be behind the eight ball, so to speak, and you'll be broken before you actually try to get some help. All right, all right, amen. Somebody, amen. All right. So this is another part we're gonna do. Testimony moment, right? We're gonna give a testimony moment. I'm gonna give like a real life example of something that I've seen. Because some of y'all might be feeling like, man, I'm down and out right now. You talking directly to me in my relationship. I don't see how we going, because I don't trust them. I just can't deal with it. It's too much hurt, too much pain. So it might be insurmountable, but you feeling like, just I don't think we could do this. Like you just feeling like, man, now we see what the problem is, but I don't ever think it could be fixed. Well, it can. It can. Because I've seen couples who look fine on the outside, right? But once they started having real conversations, everything shifted, right? Everything shifted. When they started having real conversations, right? Everything shifted because it's awkward. Like I said earlier, how you break the awkwardness. Yeah, it's gonna be awkward, but you have, because growth is like it's gonna be, uncomfortable. Like it's gonna be uncomfortable, but it's rewarding. It's rewarding. And so the thing is that I've been with couples, y'all, and that's the good thing about me being a counselor as well. So I got a lot of testimonies. So this gonna be easy for me every week, But I want to put this in place because I know sometimes you guys could feel like, man, I don't see how we can do this. But I'm gonna tell you, I've had couples been in this place where they try to look good on the outside because they were pastors and stuff. I'm talking about pastors now. They were pastors and stuff, and they was hurting, man. And I'm telling you, when they came to me, they was divorce papers on the table, all kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, y'all got a whole congregation. This ain't gonna work. We got to deal with this. And so it was a mess. It was a mess, y'all. But I'm telling you, when they started having real conversations, where they start being able to set the atmosphere where there was a safe environment and they could be vulnerable, man, things shifted. in their relationship. Their connection came back, not because the problems disappeared. Because I want y'all to understand this. Because that don't mean just because you start dealing, it's like, oh man, we good now. No, you're gonna keep having problems. Problems gonna come. The pressure of life is going to continue to come. Now you just have the tools to be able to navigate it and be able to deal with it. So that's what happened. They didn't have the tools before. They didn't understand. But once they got the tools and they started having these meaningful, real conversations, doing the daily dialogues, doing the tools with active listening and assertiveness, like creating an environment that was conducive for both of them to be safe in. Once they started doing that and having real conversations, everything shifted and a connection came back, right? And it wasn't again because the problems disappeared, because they didn't disappear. What happened was honesty showed up. Honesty showed up. And God can work with honest people. God can work with you when you be honest and transparent, right? When you come before him in the throne of grace and you be honest with the Lord. You got to be honest, right? You have not because you ask not. You got to be honest. You gotta be honest. And that's what happened. When they learned to be honest with each other, when they learned to be honest in their relationship, they learned how to fight the enemy. And now they became teammates and not just roommates. Because they was roommates before they met me. Then they became teammates. Again, these were pastors in the city, in New Orleans. I can't tell you who it is because that's confidential. But that was the truth. And so it can happen, y'all. So if pastors can do it, you can do it. All right. You can do it because there's a lot online for pastors and when they're leading people. So, but the thing is, they were willing to come in and trust the process, and God did it. And when they start having those real meaningful conversations and they start, the light bulb came on and they had them aha moments like, oh man, we getting it now. I understand now. Oh man, boom. When that honesty showed up on both their parts and they was able to really see each other for who they really are and be able to understand each other for who they really are, man, boom, it was a wrap. Deuces to the enemy. You ain't stopping us no more, right? All right, amen. So I'm believing that if honesty will show up in your relationship and you will put those tools in place, you will put that weekly dialogue in. Some of y'all might well do it more than that. All right. If you will be intentional with the things we talked about tonight, understand, like uncovering the lies of the enemy, like we talked about tonight. We talked about that avoided, that looks like peace, but it's not. It's disconnect, right? Because that's what happened when we avoid certain things. We trying to keep the peace, but what we don't realize is we're destroying our connection even more because we're not connecting. Okay. So y'all go back. If you just jumped on or whatever, go back and view this. Okay. So this is the final takeaway, and we're done. You can't build a healthy relationship by pretending. You can't. You can't build a healthy relationship by pretending. You can't. You can't build it by pretending. All right. We good is not the goal, y'all. Real connection is. That whole quote, we good, that's not the goal. Real connection is, right? And real connection requires what? Honesty, intentionality, consistency, right? Vulnerability, whatever ones all the above. Like it requires all of that. Okay. So I pray that y'all enjoyed this episode tonight. And so before we go, I want to encourage you tonight. Don't just listen to what I said. Don't just be like, oh man, I heard you. That was good stuff. Man, awesome. Don't just listen to what I said. I want you to apply it, right? Tonight or this week, have the conversation. Have the conversation before we get to this week, next week, Thursday. Don't avoid it. Don't delay it. Address it. Whatever it is, okay? Whatever it is, don't avoid it. Don't delay it, but address it. Amen. All right. So if this helped you, I want you to share this with another couple. If this tonight helped you, and first, if it helped you, just put in the chat. Man, this helped me a lot. Thank you. Because again, I love to go back and read the stuff, and again, because this is not live, where we're in person, I don't get a chance to get the feedback. So just let me know if this episode helped you tonight. let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Really, really would help. Okay. All right. So again, make sure you guys follow us. If you're on my personal YouTube page, you guys follow me. I don't have many people on it because I don't really push that YouTube page, but I need to start pushing it because I know some people don't have Facebook. So YouTube, everybody can get on YouTube. So I might even be going strictly to YouTube later on for this podcast. We'll see. For right now, we're doing Facebook and YouTube, but some people don't have Facebook, so they have YouTube. Instagram, TikTok. People may not have Facebook. So if you're on if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. So you'll always get the reminders. If you're on Facebook, make sure, man, you like and you share. Tag at least 5 people and comment. That'll be great. So they can get this. And like I tell you guys all the time, before we start, before we end, healthy relationships don't happen by accident. They don't happen by accident. How do they happen? They're built with intention, right? Healthy relationships don't happen by accident. They're built with intention. Okay. So let's be intentional. All right. So you guys go and do this. You guys go put the work in. I love you. Again, if you would like to sow into this and to me, you'll see that it should be there somewhere. If you don't see it, I'm gonna post it in a second. And so again, if you'd like to sow into me in this ministry, you guys can do so at Zelle or Cash App. And I'm gonna put it there in a second. I should have had it ready to go, but it didn't. So y'all forgive me for that. But it's in the description. I think it's in the description. So you guys should see it in the description anyway. Um, yeah, you should see it in the description anyway. So you guys can see it in the description. Because I don't see oh, there it is. Okay, just give me a second. I'm gonna post it. Ronald, Chris, I wish you guys was on here. You guys could post it for me because I just forget. I forget. And so let me just put it up here for you guys. Here we go. All right, there you go. So if you want to sow, and that goes to me personally again. So because this is not a church thing, this is me personally starting this podcast, something that God told me to do. There's a book that's coming. There's also a class. I'm going to be doing like a 6-week intensive with some couples. Okay, and so I'm going to be launching that. With a curriculum and everything. So I'm trying to get it, y'all. I'm trying to do what the Lord called me to do. And so you guys be on the lookout. There's going to be a retreat that we're going to do as well. It's so interesting, y'all. It's so interesting because, just yesterday, was it today? No, yesterday, I was tasked with doing something, from our president, of the National Black Fellowship, and also the president of North Central University, Dr. Williams. And so I don't even know if he's been following these podcasts that I've been doing. I don't think he's been looking at it, but it's just when you're in the season where God wants you to do stuff, it's just funny. It's hilarious because he tasked me with doing something. And I know he don't know this is going on right now. I know he didn't know that I stepped into this arena this year. And so what he asked and tasked me to do is like dealing with a retreat, for young couples. And it's so cool, man. So I'm excited about that. So I'm excited about that. So again, I love you guys. Again, until next week, you guys go back over this with your couples, your significant others, your partners, your spouses, and do the work. Ask each other the questions, okay? And so until next week, I will see you guys later. I love you guys. Share this because we want to literally get this out to more and more people. And so you guys be a blessing. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you guys for supporting me as I start this great podcast that I believe is going to touch thousands of people one day. When we look at it in the next 4 or 5 years, man, we can be able to look at it and be like, man, we've touched thousands of couples through this podcast that has helped them navigate their relationship to learn how to have the blueprint to healthy love that helps them to be able to, be successful in every area of their life. All right. So love you guys. God bless you. Again, if you have any questions or if you have any topics you want to discuss, you want me to discuss, just DM me in the YouTube or the Facebook or whatever. And you never know, your topic may be discussed in the next meeting. All right. All right. God bless y'all. Take care. All right. Bye bye.